They're both here. Next gen has arrived. To be fair, Xbox kicked things off last year and PlayStation took nearly 3 months to launch in India. Unfortunately, you can't buy either of them easily right now. AMD, which makes the chips for both of them, will continue to face chip shortages throughout the first half of 2021. So that means until June at the earliest, you're gonna have to jump through hoops to get your hands on either of them. But when you do get the chance to pick one of them up, which one should you go for? The short answer, there isn't an obvious winner, which is why we're gonna compare them across the board here.
Like games, performance, controllers, unique features, and whether you can fit them in your TV cabinet. The answer to the last one is going to be a no for most people.
Now before we jump in, kindly hit that subscribe button and bell icon so you're the first to learn about our new videos when we publish them.
Okay, let's begin with the basics. Both of them have a custom CPU and GPU designed by AMD, hence those chip shortages I mentioned at the start. They have different clock speeds, compute units, variable frequency and all that though, but it's still not an apples to apples comparison.
Yes, the Series X does have more teraflops of power, but it's not something you can measure or feel at launch. They have the same amount of memory and the same type of SSD, which takes over from the hard drive that were present in their predecessors.
And this is where the first notable difference appears. The Series X has a 1 TB SSD, while the PS5's SSD comes in at 825 GB. Of course, the usable storage space is lower for both, but that 200 GB gap remains nonetheless. These next-gen 4K consoles have about the same or lesser storage than their HD era counterparts. Both are bad, but PS5 is worse obviously. You can expand the storage though. Microsoft has a proprietary expansion slot, while Sony lets you slot in a second internal SSD.
Sony's option is naturally better, but unfortunately you can't actually use it right now.
For the Series X, there's just one manufacturer as yet, Seagate. It makes a 1 TB expansion card that costs 23,500 rupees, nearly half the price of the Series X itself. Ouch. You can also attach an external hard drive to both PS5 and Series X. Unfortunately, because of the shift to the SSD architecture, both consoles only allow you to store next-gen titles on hard drives. They can't be played off them. You can still play older Xbox One and PS4 titles stored on a hard drive for what that's worth. Thanks to the SSD, Microsoft has also built a quick resume feature for the Series X. Quick Resume not only lets you jump between different games, but also pick up right where you left off after a full shutdown.
Okay, that brings us to the final piece of hardware, the controllers.
The new Xbox controller is a lot like the old one, while the PS5's DualSense improves in spades on the DualShock 4. And that's partly because Sony had a bit of catching up to do with Microsoft in this department. And now, it's ahead of its rival. The DualSense adaptive triggers are great, and together with the haptic feedback, they add a new feel to games on the PS5. I love the Xbox controller, I always have, but the lack of inbuilt rechargeable batteries is annoying. Microsoft wants to offer consumers choice, but I think it's the wrong move. Sony has always included them, even as yes, the battery life has never been great, and the DualSense fancy new features make it even worse.
And now, time for some games. These are next-gen consoles, so I'm only going to look at next-gen games here.
This is FIFA 21. EA's next-gen upgrade delivers the best football gaming experience out there. Ubisoft has unveiled next-gen upgrades for two of its biggest games, Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion. Legion supports ray tracing and runs at 30 FPS. While Valhalla doesn't and delivers 60 FPS. Codemaster's new racing title Dirt 5 is also built for next-gen consoles, and it can even go up to 120 FPS if you have a compatible TV. There are more next-gen games at launch, but they are exclusive to one platform or the other. PS5, for instance, has the likes of Spider-Man Miles Morales, Demon's Souls, Astro's Playroom, and Destruction All-Stars. Xbox, on the other hand, has The Medium, Gears 5, Forza Horizon 4, and Yakuza Like a Dragon, among others. Some of them are from the Xbox One era, I know, but they look convincingly next-gen. Plus, Microsoft is providing upgrades for free. On top of that, with the Series X, you can also play titles from every Xbox generation that has ever existed. The PS5's backward compatibility is largely limited to PS4 games. As for more exclusives, there are a bunch of them coming in 2021. On the PS5 front, we have Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Deathloop, Returnal, Ghostwire Tokyo, Gran Turismo 7, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Xbox will see Halo Infinite, Flight Simulator, Stalker 2, Crossfire X, The Gunk, and Warhammer 40,000 Darktide.
But there's a big difference in Sony and Microsoft's respective approach to games. Sony will charge you individually per title, with prices going up to 5,000 rupees. Microsoft, on the other hand, will offer its exclusives as part of Xbox Game Pass at launch for no additional charge. For comparison, 12 months of Game Pass cost less than 2 big PlayStation Studio titles. Look, they're both expensive to begin with, thanks to that 50,000 price tag, but the PS5 will arguably be even more than that.
Sony's exclusives have historically been stronger though. That said, Microsoft is very determined to change that. It recently bought the maker of Fallout, Doom, and Elder Scrolls for $7.5 billion after all.
They're both solid machines at the end of the day, and it's impossible to pick one without feeling you're missing out a little bit.
An ideal package would include a controller like the DualSense, a game subscription service a la Xbox Game Pass, exclusives with the legacy of PlayStation Studios, backward compatibility on par with Series X, the PS5's storage expansion capabilities, and Xbox Dolby Vision and Atmos support.
That package doesn't exist, unfortunately, but hey, it could always be worse. Thanks for watching. For more gaming coverage, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GatchRace360.